Hey, what's up, everybody?
Welcome
We're
back.
back to discuss the latest episode of The Curse of Oak Island. This is episode. What episode was this one?
I think it's
I don't know.
17 or 18.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. It's pretty much more of the same. They were a couple of new things. They found they thought it was like at the top of a walking stick, or was it? They thought it was at the case for lipstick. I don't know. It had some like cool looking crown thing engraved on it or something, and with a flower. So they thought it might have been from England, because back then a lot of things had a rose on it and a crown. You need something to do with the English militaries, but they couldn't find anybody so far that can actually just figure out what exactly it is and what exactly the symbol on it means, because they couldn't find it exactly the same. So that's going to be like an ongoing thing, I believe, right? Until they find somebody that knows what it is. They did more digging in the swamp, and it's still that's still ongoing. It just seemed the road that they found seems to keep going, and they brought in some archaeologist guy, and he was saying that maybe it's from the 1400s or something. I don't know. It's kind of hard to decide who would put it. They thought that first they thought it was the 1700s, then the 1400s. So who knows? And they, of course, they think what's his name? They what's his name? Rick. Rick first thought his first thought was, oh, it's because they took treasure off a ship and that's what they needed. And I don't like when they do just jump to conclusions, assuming everything's a treasure. I'm sure they've taken off food and supplies and structural things to build homes or buildings or whatever, or military things. Who knows? I mean, not everything has to be a treasure, but they always gone home thinking everything's golden treasure. So I think it's interesting that they're finding this road that just keeps going on forever. I'm curious if they are going to find out exactly where it stops, and if it just stops in a random spot and then that's it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I just believe it was from they did have probably had ships pulled up there, and they were just using it to unload stuff. And that's pretty much all it was for. That's my feeling on that. I mean, but they keep on digging. It's long and tedious because they're digging down until they find these rocks, and they don't want to disturb the rocks, so they can kind of keep it how it all in one piece, so they can see exactly what the road looks like and where it goes to, which I can understand, but it's always time consuming when you're not trying to ruin whatever it is that somebody else put there. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know if you were still going or not. No, it seems pretty interesting to see where this road ends up going. But I'm not a huge fan of, they jump right to conclusions without looking at the facts and the evidence before you say, okay, it's this, maybe it's that. But instead of, them saying it's treasure, it's like, first of all, how do you know that? Number two, it could have been anything. Just like they found, I think it was lot 15, if I'm correct, where Gary and Rick found Samuel Bolt's. They think it's like a cane top or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They get the thing with the emblem on it.
But then when they brought it to the Doug, who works at the research center, they were saying to themselves, let's not jump conclusions, because this could have been someone before him or it could have been him, but they're not entirely sure. But they do know, based on the way it looks and there's a crown on it, they know this thing is at least from the 1400s, because it originated from England over in Europe. So they do know that, but they're not entirely sure how it was made or who made it or whatsoever. So they're still trying to figure that out. And then you got the money pit. They're still digging out. They're still finding a lot of wood, and they think they're in a tunnel. But they didn't really say much about it. They found a couple pieces of wood like 70 feet under the ground, and That all they said really was they're gonna keep going until they find no more wood and whatever.
Yeah, they're trying to find definitive proof that there was a tunnel or something. You know, I don't know. They'll dig in little holes every, and then like, well, if we don't find wood, then we're not going to do this. We're going to move over here. It's like, if they just dug a larger area, they would have found it south by this. And right now they're finding wood at 70 feet, which isn't that far down.
Yeah, very strange, definitely.
I still can't trying to figure out how whoever put this stuff there, if they built tunnels, like how did they get that this deep underground? These guys, having a difficult time doing. How did these other guys do it? I mean, you're talking, 40, 50 years ago when there was other searchers there trying to find this supposed treasure, and they were able to dig tunnels and everything else really, really easily compared to these guys. I mean, they just drill little tiny holes and can't find anything. I don't know if they're ever going to find anything. I think they'll eventually find these shafts, but they might realize that the shafts never really led to anywhere. That there's no real treasure, and it's going to be kind of a waste of time looking for the treasure. I think it's cool how they find all this other stuff. It is, intriguing that who lived there and who went there. Seems like a lot of people had interest in Oak Island, and I don't know why. It's really nothing special. I mean, it's up, off the coast of Nova Scotia. I don't know why so many people. I mean, that guy was it Samuel Ball. He's supposed to live there. A couple other families lived there at one point, and then supposedly they think the military from England was there, and there was the Knights Templar. I mean, there's all these people that went to this one island, and if there's no treasure, why did they all go there? I think that's it is kind of interesting. They're finding all these artifacts. So.
Well, there are many theories as to why these specific people and groups went to this one island. I mean, you gotta remember back then. I mean, there wasn't laws about owning islands. There was none of that like how there is today. The only theory I can think of as to why these people went to that island is because, first of all, it's in the middle of nowhere. Number two, there was wars back then. Maybe there was war over control of the island or something like that. And maybe that's why treasure's there. Maybe that's what they, the Knights Templar, whoever it might be. Maybe that's why they buried it there. So that way, generations from now, they probably thought in their heads, oh, we don't want anyone knowing about this, so let's put it underneath the ground. So that way no one can find what we left behind. That's what I think. But I mean, there are, I'm sure, other valid reasons as to why.
Yeah, I really hope that they do find a treasure. That they'd be, awesome if they could actually find this huge treasure that's been buried there for hundreds of years. I think that'd be pretty remarkable. So far, they've just been finding artifacts and clues that people did live there. Like Gary found that cane top or whatever they think it is, and they found a coin which they thought maybe it was an English penny. He wasn't quite sure. They were going to get cleaned and tested. So they're still finding smaller artifacts there. So
yeah.
But tonight's it was pretty much about the road that goes through the swamp. There was a man-made swamp and more of the money pit, drilling, and that's pretty much it. Every week again they got to tease it more, but they say in the next episode something big is supposed to happen again. So who knows? Every episode.
We forgot to talk about how they found the stake in the swamp.
Oh, yeah, there was the stakes in the swamp, and that was one thing from the preview for next week's episode.
They find more.
Yeah, they find these stakes, which basically is like, and people still use stuff like that today. Like, it's more like for direction for other people. Like, all right, if we put a stake here and here, we're gonna dig, whatever, a 10-foot area from here to here, or 6 foot, whatever it may be. So that's probably what the stakes were for, to instruct whoever was doing all this digging and moving rocks and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to put the rocks from this location to this location and stay within these boundaries is basically all it means. But they just started finding some of those. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep an eye on next week's episode, see what happens if they find more of this road, if it ends, or if it changes directions, or if it leads something interesting. I'm sure we're going to hear about more of, they found more wood and another little drill spot, which to me it doesn't mean anything until they start really digging.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna do it for this episode. I thought that was an intriguing episode. Get Gary getting all excited about the walking stick topper and the penny that he found. And he's the only one who gets really that excited about stuff. So he actually finds something.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. So anyways, now these episodes are gonna turn into next week and see the next episode.
Yes.
So if you guys like this video, just like and subscribe.
Until next time.